Devaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Jaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirye. Nashtiprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Nashtiki. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 8. So last time we covered until text 14, where Krishna says, "For one who always remembers me without deviation, I am easy to obtain. O son of Pritha, because of his constant engagement in devotional service." And what will happen if one obtains Krishna? Krishna says, text 15. Mamupetya punarjanma dukkhalyam ashashvatam napnuvanti mahatmana samsiddhim paramam gata. After attaining me, the great souls who are yogis in devotion never return to this temporary world, which is full of miseries, because they have attained the highest perfection. So, Mam Upetya, those who attain me or attain my supreme abode. So, that attainment of Krishna's supreme abode is for devotees only, because they are the only ones who can go to Vaikuntha Loka. And this temporary world, which is full of miseries, dukkhalyam, and it is ashashvatam, means temporary. Even if somebody says, okay, fine, it's dukkhalyam, but I still want to hang around here, but it is ashashvatam, it is temporary. Means first of all, everything is temporary in this material world, and the material world itself is temporary. Means it will be manifested and unmanifested, and again we have to take birth over and over and over and over again. But the spiritual world, on the other hand, is not temporary and no miseries. That is the specialty. Since this temporary material world is full of the miseries of birth, old age, disease, and death, naturally he who achieves the highest perfection and attains a supreme planet, Krishna Loka, Golok Vrindavan, does not wish to return. Obviously, who wants to come back here? This place of misery. The supreme planet is described in the Vedic literature as Avyakta and Akshar and Paramagati. In other words, the planet is beyond a material vision and it is inexplicable. But it's the highest goal, the destination for the Mahatmas, great souls. The Mahatmas receive transcendental knowledge from the realized devotees and thus gradually develop devotional service in Krishna consciousness and become so absorbed in transcendental service that they no longer desire elevation to any of the material planets. Nor do they even want to be transferred to any spiritual planet. So they don't want anything actually. The Mahatmas receive transcendental message from the realized devotees and they develop devotional service in Krishna consciousness. So after they develop or after they become perfect in their bhakti, they don't need to go anywhere. They don't even desire any transference anywhere. They only want Krishna and Krishna's association and nothing else. That is the highest perfection of life. This verse specifically mentions the personalist devotees of Supreme Lord Krishna. These devotees in Krishna consciousness achieve the highest perfection of life. In other words, they are the supreme souls. They are not the supreme souls mean the topmost perfect, like Prabhupada's planet. But I mean that is like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's in Shikshashtakam, he also had a desire, na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim kavitam va jagadish pamay. Mam janmani janmanishware bhavtar bhaktiraha tukiti. Means he says, just give me birth after birth. No problem. Don't even give me liberation, but just give me your bhakti, no matter what birth I take. So that's a devotee's desire. But for us, since we are not at that level that we can take a chance of taking material birth again, uh, understanding our level is not that high. So we may pray to Krishna that please take me out of here, take me back to the spiritual world. There's nothing wrong with that prayer. But another thing, like many times devotees ask this question: if we came from the spiritual world this time, what is the chance that once we go back, we will not come back here again? This verse is a chance. Mam upete tu konte mam upate punarjan dukhalyam shashvatam napnuvanti mahatman. So after attaining me, they never return to this material world. That is Krishna's promise. He says they never. It doesn't say maybe sometime they will, perhaps. Well, if they return, it won't be like in the karmic situation that we undergo. Maybe to do some service for Krishna, but that's a different story. Just like Krishna sent Srila Prabhupada here to take care of us, to preach to conditioned souls, to take back conditioned souls. That's a different story. But the soul, a jiva, does not fall down again. He just falls once. Text 16. But in the material world, what's the situation? Abram bhuvna loka punaravartino arjuna mamupete tu kaunteya punarjanmana vidyate. From the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest, all are places of misery, wherein repeated birth and death take place. But one who attains to my abode, O son of Kunti, never takes birth again. So here Krishna is again assuring us that one who attains to my abode, the spiritual planet, he never takes birth again. But in this material world, from the highest planet, which is Brahmaloka, Abrahma Bhuvna Loka, in the material down to the lowest, all are places of misery wherein repeated birth and death take place. That is the special quality of material world. Here everybody has to take birth, everybody dies, and again they have to take birth, again they die, again they take birth, again they die. This cycle keeps on going. Nobody can stop this cycle. All kinds of yogis, karma, jnana, hat, etc., eventually have to attain devotion, service, and bhakti yoga or Krishna consciousness before they can go to Krishna's transcendental abode and never return. So bhakti yoga is the only process that can take one to Krishna's supreme planet. Those who attain the highest material planets, the planets of the demigods, are again subjected to repeated birth and death. As persons on earth are elevated to higher planets, people on higher planets such as Brahmaloka, Chandraloka, and Indraloka fall down to earth. So this cycle, people going up and people going down, it keeps on going. The practice of sacrifice called Panchagni Vidya, recommended in the Chandogya Upanishad, enables one to achieve Brahmaloka. But if on Brahmaloka one does not cultivate Krishna consciousness, then he must return to earth. Those who progress in Krishna consciousness on the higher planets are gradually elevated to higher and higher planets, and at the time of universal devastation are transferred to the eternal spiritual kingdom. So idea is to keep on making progress in our Bhakti Yoga path. Baldev Vidyabhushan in his commentary on Bhagavad Gita quoted this verse. When there is devastation of this material universe, Brahma and the devotees who are constantly engaged in Krishna consciousness are all transferred to the spiritual universe and to specific spiritual planets according to their desires. So the idea is those who are constantly engaged in Krishna consciousness, they all are transferred to world. So that is a key, constantly engage in Krishna consciousness. Text 17. And so further on, Krishna, what happens in the material. Sahasra, the calculation, 1,000 duration of Brahma's one day. And such also is the duration of his. So Abram Bhuna Loka. So from Brahma Loka, even up to the lowest planet in the material world, everything goes in a cycle of birth and death. And now he's talking about the age on Brahmaji's planet, or the time duration. The duration of the material universe is limited. It is manifested in cycles of kalpas. A kalpa is a day of Brahma. And one day of Brahma consists of 1,000 cycles of 4 yugas or ages: Satya, Treta, Dwapar, and Kali. The cycle of Satya Yuga is characterized by virtue, wisdom, and religion. There being practically no ignorance and vice, and the yuga lasts 17,28,000 years. In the Treta Yuga, some vice is introduced. And this yuga lasts 12 lakhs. There is an decline in virtue and religion, vice increasing, and this yuga lasts 8,64,000 years. And finally, in Kali Yuga, the yuga we have now been experiencing over the past 5,000 years, there is an abundance of strife and non-existent, and 4,32,000 years. In Kali Yuga, vice increases to such a point that at the termination of the Yuga, the Supreme Lord himself appears as Kalki Avatar, vanquishes the demons, saves his devotees, and commences another Satya Yuga. Then the process is set rolling again. So Kalki Avatar himself will come towards the end of Kali Yuga, and he will start Satya Yuga again. The 4 yugas rotating 1,000 times comprise one day of Brahma. And the similar one day of Brahma and the same number comprise one night. Brahma lives 100 of such years and then dies. These 100 years by earth calculations total to 311 trillion and 40 billion years. So that's one lifetime, 100 years of Brahmaji. So he lives that long. But from his perspective, he only lives for 100 years. This is from our calculation. By these calculations, the life of Brahma seems fantastic and interminable. But from the viewpoint of eternity, it's as brief as a lightning flash. In the causal ocean, there are innumerable Brahmas rising and disappearing like bubbles in the Atlantic. So in the causal ocean, there are innumerable Brahmas rising and disappearing like bubbles in the ocean. But from our viewpoint, Brahmaji's life is 311 trillion 40 billion years. That's lots of years. Brahma and his creation are all part of the universe, and therefore they are in the material universe. Not even Brahma sees in them. Brahma, however, is directly engaged in the service of the Supreme Lord in the management of this universe. Therefore, he at once attains liberation. Elevated sannyasis are promoted to Brahma's particular planet, Brahmaloka, which is the highest planet in the material universe, and will survive the planetary system. But due course, Brahma and all the inhabitants of Brahmaloka are subjected to death. Everybody is going to die. That's what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita in the beginning. Jatasi dhruvam mrityu, dhruvam janam mritasya cha. One who has taken birth is destined to die. He's definitely it's going to die. And one who has one who has died, he will definitely take birth again. So even from the point of view of Brahmaji, nobody is free from cycle of birth and death. And what is our life in comparison to Brahmaji's? His 100 years is 311 trillion 40 billion years. And we hardly live for 100 years. So this is our position actually. And even that Brahmaji's life, such a long life, which is called one Kalpa. Kalpa is the day of Brahma. So that life who is Krishna is saying, even that life, Krishna is saying, is compared to a flash in a pan. It's so small. There was one rishi, I'm forgetting the name. He was somehow given a benediction that he would die when all the hair on the body of Brahmaji fall down. He said, okay, that's great. And how many hair? Brahmaji has plenty of hair. And they were not just falling down. So the sage was given this benediction. So he understood that he's going to be here for a long time. So he was once meditating on the banks of a river, and some sadhus passed by. And they asked him, sir, why are you sitting at the back of yourself in a hut and there you live in and do your meditation? This sadhu, this sage who was the benediction of dying after so many years, like every hair of Brahmaji's body falls down, then he would die. So he told them, why should I waste time in temporary, unnecessary things? He said, this is all temporary, making a hut and living in a hut and this and that. It will distract me from my sadhana, from my meditation. Although he is going to live for so many years. Point is, we have to see our position. How temporary, how insignificant actually we are in the whole creation. We are actually nobody, nothing. Just because Krishna has given us this soul and this body around the soul, doesn't mean we are somebody. We are nobody. So that has to be remembered. We are nobody, we're not bothered to notice all this demigods, especially these demigods. So what are we so puffed up about? Sorry, it's a tongue twister. We really get very puffed up. We think I'm this and that. We're nothing. Brahmaji's one day, 12 hours, is 1,000 yuga cycles. As long as 1,000 yuga cycles. That's it. How long is his one day? And in that one day, 1,000 yuga cycles, we are in one of the yuga cycles of Kali Yuga. And Brahmaji will see his one day over after these 1,000 yuga cycles are gone. So that's what we have to keep on reminding ourselves. This is this whole very temporary position. Everything is temporary. And everything that we see is temporary. Text 18. Avyaktadyakteya sarva prabhavanti aharagame ratyagame praliyante tatreva vyakta sangike. At the beginning of Brahma's day, all living entities become manifest from the unmanifested state. And thereafter, when the night falls, they are merged into the unmanifest again. Text 19. Bhutgrama sa evayam bhutva bhutva priliyate ratrya agame avashaha partha prabhavati aharagame. Again and again, when Brahma's day arrives, all living entities come into being, and with the arrival of Brahma's night, they are helplessly annihilated. Helplessly annihilated. All living entities. The less intelligent who try to remain within this material world may be elevated to higher planets, and then again must come down to this planet Earth. During the daytime of Brahma, they can exhibit their activities on the day, or they can exhibit their activities on higher and lower planets within this material world. But at the coming of Brahma's night, they are all annihilated. So there are two devastations that take place. One is towards the end of the day of Brahma. That is called shorter devastation or temporary devastation. And then there is one towards the end of Brahmaji's life that is called complete devastation. In the shorter devastation or temporary devastation, every planet up to Svargaloka is burned down to ashes. And at the time of full devastation, then the whole planet, the whole system, everything that we see of is going to burn and die. The less intelligent who try to remain within this material world may be elevated higher planets, and then again must come down to this planet Earth. Okay, this we had done. In the day, they receive various bodies for material activities, and at night, they no longer have bodies but remain compact in the body of Vishnu. Then again, they manifest at the arrival of Brahma's day, Bhutva Bhutva Praliyate. During the day, they become manifest, and at night, they are annihilated again. Ultimately, when Brahma's life is finished, they are all annihilated and remain unmanifest for millions and millions of years. And when Brahma is born again in another millennium, they are again manifest. In this way, they are captivated by the spell of the material world. But those intelligent persons who take to Krishna consciousness use the human life fully in the devotional service of the Lord, chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Thus they transfer themselves, even in this life, to the spiritual planet of Krishna and become eternally blissful there, not being subject to such rebirths. See, the soul is not subject to death or rebirth, or for that matter, or old age. It's only this body that goes through these cycles. But the soul is so much attached to the body that it thinks, I'm this body. But the soul does not undergo any of these changes. So, so the body is subject to these changes, but the soul, when it comes back to its original position, constitutional position in the spiritual world, then it doesn't go through this birth, old age, disease, death process again. And we belong to that spiritual world. It's not something new. Like Prabhupada said in that one of the famous lectures, he said, this Krishna consciousness is not an artificial imposition on the mind. It is natural. It is very much natural for everybody. Of course, we don't take it up easily, or even if we take it up, we don't take it seriously. But this Krishna consciousness, bhakti part is natural for everybody. And what is not natural is this bhutva bhutva praliyate, taking birth again and again and again and again. So we have to strive for that spiritual position of ours. In this case, like during rainy season, we see these small moths or small insects that when we go and at the evening, we'll see them at the street light. Everybody is flying around, jumping around, running around. And in the morning, by the morning, they all die. So their 100 years is like one of our nights. That's all. So they're born, they grow up, they have their families, they have the kids, and then they grow old and die. And so many generations of one life, not this time. So just imagine, we can't even imagine actually how many planets are there and how many different kind of living entities living everywhere, and they're going through this process. And from Brahmaji's perspective, we are also like that. Just some insignificant fly who just takes birth, flashes his wings, and afterwards he dies. We don't even live for one moment, 1 second of Brahmaji. That's how insignificant we are, and we think we are somebody. But I'm very important. I have done this, I have achieved this, I have made this. Inaugurations. Parastasmat tu bhavavanya, avyakta vyakta tu sanatana, yasa sarvesham bhuteshu nashyatsu na vinashyati. Yet there is another unmanifested and unmanifested matter. It is supreme and never annihilated. When all in this world is annihilated, that part remains as it is. So this is one of the qualities of the spiritual world, that remains as it is. It's permanent. Krishna's superior spiritual energy is transcendental and eternal. It's beyond all the changes of material nature, which is manifest and annihilated during the days and nights of Brahma. Krishna's superior energy is completely opposite in quality to the material nature. Superior and inferior natures are explained in the 7th chapter. So Krishna is saying that unmanifest, yet there's another unmanifest nature, means the spiritual world, which is eternal and is transcendental to this manifested and unmanifested matter. It is supreme and is never annihilated. In material world is always going through changes, and it is going to end soon. Text 21. Again, Krishna tells little bit more about his spiritual abode. Avyaktvakshar yukta stamaho paramam gatim yam chapi nanivartante tadham paramam mama. Again, he's giving assurance also in this verse that once we go there, we are not going to come back. That which the Vedantas described as unmanifest and infallible, that which is known as a supreme nation, that place from which, having attained it, one never. The supreme is Chintamani, place where all the desires are fulfilled. The supreme abode of Lord Krishna, known as Golok Vrindavan, is full of palaces made of touchstone. There are also trees called desire trees that supply any type of eatable upon demand. And there are cows known as Surabhi cows which supply a limitless supply of milk. In this abode, the Lord is served by hundreds and thousands of goddesses of fortune. And he is called Govinda, the primal Lord and the cause of all causes. The Lord is accustomed to blow his flute, Venum Kvanantam. See, this is the beauty of Vedic scriptures. They give so much of detail of the spiritual world, so much of detail of how, what does he say, what does he talk, what does he wear? Everything is given in the Vedic text. His transcendental form is the most attractive in all the world. His eyes are like lotus petals, and the color of his body is the color of clouds. He is so attractive that his beauty excels that of thousands of cupids. He wears saffron clothes, a garland around his neck, and a peacock feather in his hair. In the Gita, Lord Krishna gives only a small hint of his personal abode. Golok Vrindavan, which is supreme planet in the spiritual kingdom. So other scriptures go in detail. Text 22. Purushasa parahapatha bhaktya labhyastvananya yasyantasthani bhutani ena sarvam idam tatam. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is greater than all, is attainable by unalloyed devotion. Although he is present in his abode, he is all-pervading and everything is situated within him. So Krishna is calling himself the Supreme Person, but through that angle also he is trying to tell us. And again, bhaktya, the word bhaktya comes only by bhakti is that attainable. It's here clearly stated that the supreme destination from which there is Brahma Samhita describes the supreme abode as Ananda Chinmaya Ras, a place where everything is full of spiritual rasa. All the variegatedness manifested there is of the quality of spiritual bliss. Nothing there is material. That variegatedness is expanded as a spiritual expansion of the Supreme Godhead Himself. For the manifestation, there is totally of the for the manifestation there is totally of the spiritual energy. As the material world is concerned, although the Lord is always in His supreme abode, He is nonetheless all-pervading by His material energy. So by His spiritual and material energies, everywhere. Yasyanta Sthan means that everything is situated within Him. within either his spiritual or material energies. The Lord is all pervading by these two energies. So the variegatedness, the variations in the spiritual expansion is there. So much of variation is there. And that supreme abode is the abode of Krishna. To enter Krishna's supreme abode or the innumerable Vaikuntha planets is possible only by bhakti, devotion service, as clearly indicated here by the word bhaktya. No other process can help one attain that supreme abode. So only by bhakti, only by devotion service, one can attain that supreme abode. There is no other way. Okay. Next paragraph. Lord is always in the supreme abode. Golok Vrindavan. He is as stated in Vedas, Parasha Shaktir Vividheva Shute, Subhava ki Jnana Balakriyacha. His energies are so expansive that he systematically conduct everything in the cosmic manifestation without a flaw. Although the Supreme Lord is far, far away. So this is the characteristics of the spiritual world, supreme at the same time. Many times that's what the Mayavadis say. If somebody has a figure, somebody has a body, then he cannot be at two places at the same time. But Krishna is different. He has a human-like body, but his body is completely spiritual. I think I will stop here. See anybody's any questions or comments, because I'm getting some messages that I have to get into.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, no question, just an observation that it's scary to think that we just completed 5,000 years in the Kali Yuga. We still have got 427,000 years left.
Yeah.
And that, yeah, and we are complaining of the deterioration even at this stage. So one shudders to think what is in store. So it's not necessary that it will be worse and worse only, isn't it? It could be up and down also.
It will be up and down for the next 9,500 years. So that is blessed by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as golden years. So 10,000 years he blessed, 500 years already passed. But afterwards, it's basically going to go down.
So 5,000 years are gone, and 5,000 more.
5,000 of Kali Yuga are gone, but Mahaprabhu 500 years ago. So he blessed 10,000 from that time onwards.
From that time. So we still have 9,500 years. Okay.
It sounds like a long time, but actually it's not. It's like a flash in the pan.
Yeah. And to think that the last avatar, the Kalki avatar, is going to happen as per the prophecies towards the end of the Kali Yuga.
Yes.
So we are looking at another minimum 400,000 years plus.
Oh yeah, easily. And then Satyuga will start. I mean, that's even more astonishing.
Right. But why does that avatar need to happen at all? If it is going to happen at the end of Kali Yuga, who wants that avatar? I mean, anyway, we are going to have Satyug immediately after that.
Yeah, but not everybody will be eligible to go to Satyuga. So those who are not, they will be killed.
So at the end of this Yuga, I mean, obviously, as you said, Brahma's day, and then the night would be the Pralay, which is probably which is the same duration. But
Yeah.
after every Mahayuga also this happens, the Pralay, or
No. No. Although Jeev Goswami says after every Manvantar, when one Manu gives up, the other Manu takes over, then there is a small.
okay, but so after every Kalpa, after every Manvantar also, there is a small destruction, but not after every Mahayuga.
No. Well, that will be close to Pralay when Kalki Avatar comes and he kills everybody. At least on Earth there will be Pralay,
Okay.
not in other planets.
Thanks, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, I don't have any question, just a humble request that tomorrow His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj will be coming to Noida ISKCON temple to give Bhagavatam lecture at 8 o'clock. So it is just a humble request to all of you, if you all can come and hear his lecture, because he doesn't come so easily to Noida temple and to Delhi temples. So it is just a humble request. If we all can go and hear his lecture, will be. I'm considering myself to be very fortunate. So it's
Oh yeah,
just a request.
definitely. Everybody should go, and maybe you can do live telecast from there for the rest of the devotees who cannot.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, if every devotee goes to the Facebook page of Radha Govind Dev Temple at Noida and do a like subscription of that, there's a Facebook telecast for every day's Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita lectures. So devotees can hear that, those who are missing out. So I'm going to watch that tomorrow. So
Sure. Then let's all plan to do that, and we can have our class on Monday.
sure, Prabhuji.
And please post the link, Saraswati Mataji.
Mataji, I'll share the link. I'll just share it now so that everybody can do a subscription of the live page to now itself. And we'll be getting we can log in at 8 o'clock tomorrow and we'll get they get to hear Maharaj.
Yeah.
Great.
That way we'll meet each other also. It's a long time.
Yeah.
Prabhuji, just a small question. When we reaches to higher planet, do we get these family structure again?
Well, you don't like it or what?
No, I like it. I was just asking. Again, all these relationships and husbands, children, mother, father, all these. Do we get this family structure again or no?
Family structure in heavenly planets. It's not the same, but it is there. Something is there.
Okay.
Not exactly the same. Just like ladies don't get pregnant till their like 99th year. Because every living is there to enjoy. So this burden of pregnancy and childbirth is not there.
Because if we get the family, sorry, Prabhuji.
Old age is also is impediment in enjoyment. So that also one doesn't get. Disease also. I mean, very little of everything.
Okay.
So one question, Prabhuji, in this
Yes.
topic only. If we go to the higher planets after having died as a very sattvic person or having done a lot of good deeds, and from when we reach the planet, and there if we do karmas that would entitle us to a moksha sort of situation. Is it possible to attain moksha from that level, or you have to come back again and then it is only possible from earth to attain moksha?
Theoretically, it is possible from there because in one of the purports also, Prabhupada said that from higher planets one can keep going up and up and up. But the problem is there is so much of facilities, so much of opulence over there. Except if you go to like Tapaloka and Maharloka, Brahmaloka, which are full of tapasvis and Satyaloka, those kind of planets. Just Swargaloka. There's so much of opulence, one does not want to take up bhakti process.
Okay.
That's the biggest problem here.
Okay.
Just imagine if the Apsaras are there dancing in the wonderful garden, Nandankan gardens are there, Somras is there, and everybody's enjoying, and you think I would be sitting down and chanting? No way.
So that higher planet is only to negate all your good deeds.
Basically, yeah, until we really go to really higher planets, like as I said, Satyaloka and Tapaloka, where people do tapasya, and keep on doing tapasya.
Right.
This is, yes, in text, chapter 9, it says, Kshine Purne Martilokam Vishanti. After a Punya Karma, bank balance of Punya Karmas are gone, then we come back to material world.
Okay, right. So effectively, it means that Earth is the best. This Bhulok is the best opportunity to attain salvation.
Yeah.
Moksha.
Yeah. Even on Earth, we can see, like if somebody goes to, America or Europe, which are very opulent places, it's not very conducive for bhakti. India is the best place for bhakti, actually.
Yes.
And if somebody goes to Africa where there's hardly anything to live by, again, it's not conducive for bhakti.
Right. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Right.
Thank you, bro. Thank you all. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.